Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
Welcome dear students. This is a video for the subject of education for the course of Bachelors of Education and for the paper of Educational Technology. We are going to have a discussion on the science of teaching learning, and in this lecture the focus will be on the characteristics and the fundamental elements of models of teaching. This video lecture is recorded by Dr. Iram Khan. The course coordinator or the presenter of this video is Dr. Iram Khan from Jamia Millia Islamia, New Delhi. The academic expert or the reviewer of this video is Dr. Savita Kaushal from Jamia Millia Islamia, New Delhi. This video is produced under the project DTH Swayam Prabha Channels of Ministry of Education, Government of India. Hello dear students, I am Dr. Iram Khan, Assistant Professor at Institute of Advanced Studies in Education, Faculty of Education, Jamia Millia Islamia, New Delhi. Today we will be discussing our topic on the science of teaching learning, and here the lecture will be based on the characteristics and fundamental elements of models of teaching. So let us start the discussion first with the objectives. The objectives of this session will be to explain the characteristic features of models of teaching, to discuss the functions of models of teaching, and to describe the fundamental elements of models of teaching. So dear students, we have already seen that what exactly is the meaning of models of teaching. In the earlier session, we have discussed in an elaborate way that what exactly the meaning and definition of model of teaching is. Let us just have a quick recap. Model of teaching is referred to a model, a blueprint, or an action plan designed in advance for providing necessary structure and direction to a teacher for realization of the stipulated objective. And now just keep it in mind and try to make a list of the nature and the characteristics of the models of teaching. And in doing so, let us make a list, and this list will start with the first point, which can be that models of teaching are some sort of pattern or plans prepared in advance for the success of the teaching learning process. Then they differ from general teaching techniques and the strategies in the sense that these are designed to meet certain specific objectives or the goals. Then if we try to go a little ahead, we can see that the models of teaching provide specific guidelines or the blueprint in advance for the realization of the specific objectives by specifying the teaching activities and controlling the teaching learning environment. Here the teaching learning environment is very much important because by creating an environment, the teacher facilitates each and every aspect of a classroom and it becomes conducive for the teaching learning process. Then the models of teaching give specific instructional designs for the particular type of instruction in a specified teaching learning situation. The teaching models help in creating a proper teaching learning environment, and that particular environment actually facilitates the process of teaching learning in a proper way. These models help in specifying the criteria of acceptable performance expected from the learners in a specific teaching learning situation. So whatever is expected from the learner in a specific situation, that is also something which is somehow specified or planned in this in any of those teaching models. The teaching models provide systematic procedure and organized efforts for the desirable modification of the behavior of the learners. Then the teaching models, they specify the teaching or learning outcomes in behavioral terms, and then like once they do this specification of the learning outcomes in behavioral terms, then they lay down a step-by-step procedure for the attainment of these outcomes or the learning outcomes. The teaching models help the teacher in this task of teaching in the same way as an engineer or an architect is basically helped in the construction. Basically, the role of an engineer uh, once a building is constructed, the same kind of role this particular teaching model or the blueprint which is created in the form of this teaching model is going to play in the process of teaching and learning for a teacher. So the same role which is played by an engineer in the construction of a building or bridge by an appropriate model or blueprint which is prepared in advance, uh, by the use of that particular model or blueprint, this bridge or a big building is prepared. In the same way, the teaching models are also going to help the teacher in terms of creating the best behavior and doing this perfect teaching learning process happen. So then if we try to go a little ahead, we can also see that the models of teaching save the energy, time and efforts of the teacher and the learners, besides providing better economy to the best utilization of the other teaching learning resources, because everything is planned. So less time will be utilized in terms of resources. Also, we are going to manage a lot of activities, a lot of teaching learning with limited resources. So if everything is planned, a model is constructed beforehand, then we as a teacher are going to save a lot of energy, time and efforts, and in very less resources we will be in a position to provide better outcomes to our students. In addition, the models of teaching are known to serve three major functions in a given teaching learning situation. What are these three major functions? If you try to see this particular diagram which is shown here on your screen, you can see that the models of teaching is trifurcated, and the first component or the first function which is shown here is the designing and specifying the instructional objectives. So this is somehow the first task which the model of teaching basically does. So the designing and the specifying of the instructional objective, whatever instructions the teacher is going to use inside the classroom or during the teaching learning process, that is designed and specifically designed in a way in which it is going to be transacted. So this is the first function. The second function of the models of teaching is to develop and select the instructional material or the resources. Whatever teaching aids, whatever learning material which we are going to use inside the classroom for making the topic which we are teaching to the students clear and much more easier for them to understand that particular resource. That resource can be anything. It can be a photograph, it can be a chart or a model, it can be any video or audio or any ICT object. So the range is very, you can say that you have got a big range from where you can select as a teacher the perfect instructional material or the teaching aid. But it is something which the teacher should do beforehand. The selection, and if the teacher is capable of developing, that should be done beforehand. So this is somehow the second function of the models of teaching, the selection and the development of instructional material. Then the third function is specifying teaching learning activities. So what exactly is done here in the specification of the teaching learning activities? Basically, these teaching learning activities which are done inside the classroom, they all are the combination of all those planning, the selection of the instructional material, the presentation process in which the teacher actually teaches the entire topic. And suppose in the topic there is any activity which is being performed, then the questions which are asked by the teacher in the form of formative assessment, and then at the end the teacher is going to make a recapitulation. So every single activity is somehow planned either in the head or maybe jotted down on a piece of paper. So in the model of teaching, basically all these three functions are done in a very systematic way, and once these things are done properly, will be in a position to attain the stipulated instructional objectives. So these are the specific functions of the models of teaching. The next point is the fundamental elements of a teaching model. Let us have a look at what exactly the fundamental elements are. In a teaching model, basically this teaching model provides the valuable guidelines and blueprint for carrying out the task of teaching. And why it is done? For the realization of some specific goals which are set beforehand. So in order to do this, the teacher is going to use a model. So because the teacher is going to use a model, this teacher must be properly acquainted with the theory and also the practice, or the proper knowledge of the fundamental elements which are involved in the description of this teaching model. And in general, a teaching model is described with some fundamental elements. What are these fundamental elements? We are just going to discuss, and first we will just have a look at what are these fundamental elements, and then one by one we will be detailing out that what exactly these elements mean. So there are 6 elements of the teaching model, or the fundamental elements of a teaching model, and these 6 are: the first one is focus, then we have got syntax, then the principles of reactions, social system, support system, and application. So these 6 are the fundamental elements of a teaching model. Let us now have a look on what exactly these 6 elements mean. The first element is focus. This is the central aspect of a teaching model. For what the model stands is the theme of the focus. All the teaching models are meant for achieving some specific goals or objectives of teaching in relation to the environment of the learner. And therefore, the objectives of teaching and aspects of the environment generally constitute the focus of the model. So basically, whatever is the specific objective, that is going to be the focal point or the focus of this entire process of developing a model. So that specific objective, or the objective which we have set beforehand, or the goal which is set beforehand, is going to be the focus of the model. And this is the first fundamental element. The second fundamental element is syntax. What exactly it means? This term syntax is basically meaning the phasing of the model. It refers to the description of the model in action. Each model consists of several phases and activities which have to be arranged in specific sequence, which is quite unique to a particular model. So the phasing or making a sequence, or the syntax, helps a teacher to use the model, and also the teacher will be aware of that how this teacher is going to begin the process and then how to proceed ahead. So if we try to see several examples of the teaching models, we will see that there are different type of sequences, and these sequences or phasings are mentioned to be uh, at sometimes we call them syntax, and this is the second fundamental element of a teaching model. the syntax or the phasing of the models. The third is the principles of reaction. What exactly this means? While using the model, how a teacher should regard and respond to the activities of the student. This is basically the concern of this particular element of the principles of reaction. How the teacher is going to respond on any of those activities which a student does inside the class while the teaching learning process is happening. These responses should be quite appropriate and selective on which the teacher is going to respond. So the teacher should also see very keenly that what the student is doing and which response of the student worth a response back by the teacher. So every model is actually going to use this principle of reaction, although or the principles of reaction, and basically this provides the teacher with particular and unique rules of thumb by which uh, the teacher makes himself or herself in tune, or basically the teachers tune in to the student and select appropriate responses to what the student does. So basically this is somehow the tuning process which happens between the student and the teacher. So there is a rapport building. Once you are teaching inside a classroom and you have got a lot of students sitting with in front of you and you are taking a topic, you are basically creating a rapport, and this rapport is essential while teaching, because otherwise the students are not going to connect with you. And this tuning in is basically based on the principles of reaction, which is the third fundamental element of the models of teaching. The next element is the social system. And the social system can be understood by two of the descriptions. The first description is that the interactive roles and relationships between the teacher and the student should be maintained. The teacher and the student should be having interaction between them, and there should be a relationship which is somehow going to help the student to open up and to ask questions and to make everything which the student is not able to understand by the help of asking questions to the teacher. Like at the end of the class, the teacher is going to solve the queries of all the students, and this is somehow possible only if there is an interactive role and the relationship between the teacher and the student. Then the second thing is that the kind of norms that are encouraged and the student behavior that is rewarded. This is also somehow uh, to be checked or to be seen here in a classroom. There are certain norms. If you just have a look inside a class, if the students are talking amongst them, those the teacher always say that during the class don't talk. And that is somehow a norm that while the class is going on, you should not talk. And if you are talking, then maybe you will be punished, or maybe there will be a negative reinforcement, or definitely you are not going to be getting any kind of reward. And if you are answering to a quick question which the teacher has asked, the right answers are going to get rewards in the form of applause or maybe clapping by the other students. So these are those norms or things which are set beforehand, and the students are aware of that. This if this happens, if the students are other students are clapping and the teacher is asking to them to clap for the other child, it means that they have done a good thing, and their behavior is basically accepted in a very good manner by the entire class. So the models differ from each other with regard to the description of these two particular points which we have just mentioned. In some models, the teacher is the center of the activity, or the different activities are somewhat equally distributed between the teacher and the students. While in few of the models, you can find that the students, maybe the student uh, is in an individual or maybe in a group, they occupy the central place. So it depends from one model to another that what kind of centrality will the central place will be given to a teacher in a teaching situation, or the student is going to take the central place. So the leadership role of the teacher, comprising the location of authority and the amount of control over that, emerge from the process of interaction. It also varies from one model to another. So the interaction, the level, or you can say the intensity of interaction, that is also different. It varies from one model to another. And similarly, the way in which the student behavior is rewarded, it differs from one model to another. So you can find a lot of different type of uh, intensities and levels of interaction, and the rewarding nature uh, of the student behavior in case of different teaching models. The next component is the support system. This element refers to the additional requirements beyond the usual human skills or the capacities from the teachers and the facilities or schedules available in an ordinary classroom. Such type of additional support may demand some specific or special skills, knowledge, and the capacities from the teacher, or some special aid and material facilities, and that can range from anything to from a small photograph, or a small movie or film, self-instructional system, or maybe the teacher can take the students to some other place which is outside the premises of the school. So visiting to a museum or to any other place for the sake of studying, or for having a good sort of understanding, can also be the part of this list of material or the facilities. A flexible schedule, it should not be very rigid. So this flexibility is going to give a lot of liberty to the students and the teachers, and a particular organizational climate suiting to the requirements of the model. Because if the climate, or you can say the environment of the institution in which the teaching learning process is happening, if that environment is healthy, the the processes which the teacher is selecting in case of this particular teaching model which she has adapted, that is very much important, that if there is a good environment inside the organization, then only the success of this particular model is going to happen. So it is needless to emphasize that the support system contributes towards the success of a model by generating a desirable classroom environment. So classroom environment is something which is essential for the success of the model which the teacher is adapting while the teaching learning process. The next is, and the last element is application. And this last element describes its application aspect. Some models are meant for a short lesson, some for the large, and some actually can be useful for a short lesson as well as the large lessons. They also differ in terms of the goal achievements, and maybe in case of affective, cognitive, or psychomotor domains. And subsequently, they provide suitable for one or the other type of teaching. So therefore, each model through its elements of application, basically application context tries to describe the feasibility of its use in varying contexts, achieving specific educational goals and demanding specific work environment. So this happens, the application part happens once the feasibility of all these things, where the specific educational goals, the demands of the environment of the teacher, everything, if everything is conducive, everything is in a balanced or equilibrated way, then you can find that the application of all these teaching models are going to be very good in terms of teaching a short lesson or maybe in teaching a large topic. So it depends on the conducive nature of the environment in which the teacher is working and in which the students are basically taught. So in this way, now we have reached to the end of this particular topic. Let us just have a quick recap. We have seen that a model can be properly explained and understood in terms of its fundamental elements. It also facilitates its use and application for the desired instructional purposes. The fundamental elements of a teaching model can be named as: number one is focus, which tells us that for what the model stands. So what exactly is the specific objective or the goal for which this entire model or the entire machinery is working or the blueprint is made. So that particular goal or objective is the focal point, and that is the first element, that is called as focus. Number two is syntax, which refers to the description of model in action. So whatever phases, whatever steps we are going to adapt here, that is somehow different in different models, but this is something which is the description of a model in action, so it specifies the phases. Number three is the principles of reaction, which are basically the rules which are followed for responding to the action of the student. So whatever response basically the teacher gives on a particular activity of a student, that is somehow the part of this fundamental element, which is known as the principles of reaction. Then we have got the social system. Here, the type of interaction and role which is played by the students and the teachers are basically specified. Then we have got the next element, which is the support system. The support system is basically the type of additional resources which are needed once a teaching learning process is happening or the teaching model is basically implemented. Then the next or the last step is, or the fundamental element is, the application context. So where or you can say that in this particular phase or this particular fundamental element, the the form of the model can be applicable for teaching learning. How this form of the model is going to work, where this form of model which is basically adapted is going to work, and how it is going to work, the application part is basically dealt. So this is the last step which talks about the application context. We have also seen in this lesson all those characteristic features and the nature of the teaching models and the functions of the teaching models, which are very important in terms of a classroom, the successful classroom process. So this is, you can say, the essence of a classroom, where the teacher is planned and the planning is going to make the classroom teaching process very much successful, and it depends on the adaptation of a model which the teacher is going to use. These are few of those references and the suggested further links which are used for developing this lecture. You can also go ahead and read more about these models, and you can also try to use few of those models in your teaching learning process. Thank you from my side for this lesson. Let us see each other in another topic another time. Thank you so much. Dear students, you were watching a video on the science of teaching learning. And here in this lecture, we discussed about the characteristics and fundamental elements of the models of teaching. This video lecture was recorded by faculty at home during the homebound situation of COVID-19 pandemic using minimal technical resources. Technical errors, if any, are unintentional and may please be ignored. For any queries with regard to this lecture or broadcast, kindly send your email to techsupport@dth.ac.in. Thank you so much.